Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Wanted to make a quick video today for kind of recent college grads or kids that are about to graduate for college or just young people in general that are really struggling to find a job in today's market. I don't think people understand how difficult the job market is today for young people and just how much we're kind of struggling to get our foot in the door in a lot of ways. You know, I have heard a lot about it from friends that I still have in college now, just about the struggle, and I went through it 100% last year, and it was incredibly difficult. So I kind of want to share my story of what I went through, kind of the craziness of it, and then I have three really good tips or three things that I learned that really helped me land a job out of school that I hope that people can take and use to their advantage. So I went to a SUNY school. I went to SUNY Cortland for 4 years. And in October of my senior year, I had started applying to jobs because I wanted to get ahead of it. My goal was to have a job that I wanted or was interested in by the time school finished up. And so from October until probably April, I was applying to jobs often, multiple a week. I was interviewing, everything like that. And I had probably put in over 200 applications in that span of 6, 7 months. And a lot of times I just felt like hopeless and lost. To be honest, I started learning that a lot of the job applications you were filling out, it seemed like they were just going into like a black hole and like you were never hearing back or you just weren't getting an interview even if you were like the perfect qualified candidate and had a great resume. So, over time I kind of didn't know what to do. I kept applying, didn't work. So, want to make sure I get everything straight here. So what I was doing was I was doing everything. I was applying off job websites. I was applying via LinkedIn, like on their quick apply. I was messaging people on LinkedIn. I was trying to connect with everyone I could and just to get on phone calls with people and see if they had any opportunities. And it just seemed like nothing was going my way. So obviously it can get really discouraging and really frustrating. But like looking back on it, if I would have done some things differently, I probably could have saved myself a lot of time and effort. Because what people don't understand is these job applications take hours. Like this isn't like it takes 5 minutes to do a job application. You got to write cover letters, you got to submit resumes, sometimes you're filling out questionnaires, sometimes you're uploading video recordings of yourself answering questions that they're asking you. And then that's all just to make it past the first round. Because oftentimes, if you even do hear back and make it to the next round, sometimes it's interviews, sometimes it's case studies, sometimes it's multiple interviews. I'll give you one example. I had gotten an interview at Fanatics, the sports company, through a connection. And I had probably gotten through, I probably did 4 or 5 interviews with them before I kind of just realized I don't think I'm a good fit for this position and it wasn't what I want to do. But at the time, I had nothing else going for me. So I was like, well, I should see it through. And then I was like 4 or 5 interviews in and I was just like, this just isn't for me. It wouldn't be a good fit either way. But that's kind of like the idea behind that is kind of difficult to fathom for a lot of like college grads. You're a recent college grad, you're probably applying for an entry level position, and you got to go through 4, 5, 6 interviews to get a job. So it's difficult. So you got to kind of figure out the new way of doing things, the new landscape of kind of job interviews and how to hack the system. Um, I definitely want to say one story that stood out in particular that was very eye opening in the process. I was an economics major in college, so I kind of explored going down the finance route. And I had a connection to someone who was high up at one of the big banks working in New York City. He had worked at multiple different banks over his career. He was now high up at one of the big banks. I don't want to name the bank because this story is kind of wild. But essentially, when I had a phone call with him, he told me, check our job listings every day on our website because we post jobs daily. And he's like, when you find something you like, apply ASAP. Because what they did was this bank would take the job listing down once they got 40 applicants for DEI reasons. Now, to me, that didn't make any sense because what happens if you had 40 of the same type of people applying. Like, that's not really DEI. But anyway, it was good knowledge to know. So I started paying attention to it. And on the bank's website, they would do that. I would check at 10 a.m. in the morning. There'd be a job listing. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it'd be taken down. So I was scanning this job board, found a job I fit perfectly. I applied. I was one of 40 because I got my application in. And then I emailed my connection at the bank, and he was going to write me a letter of recommendation and send it to HR and the hiring team. So I got in, I applied, I sent him the job posting. He wrote me a glowing letter of recommendation. To be honest with you, I was a little uncomfortable because he was hyping me up so much in this letter, and sent it off. And when we started this process, my connection told me, I can only guarantee getting you an interview. I can't go from there. And at this point, I wasn't even getting interviews. So I was like, okay, anything I can do just to get in front of someone, that's all I need. So I apply, he writes me a letter of recommendation, sends it off to the hiring team in the HR department. Don't hear anything for 2 weeks. Now, I know I'm one of 40, and I have a glowing letter of recommendation from a vice president at the company. I get a email 2 weeks later, sorry, we're not moving forward with you. You'll not be getting an interview, blah, blah, blah. And I was just stunned. I literally sat there and I was like, I don't know what else to do now. If I have this connection, I was one of 40 people to apply for a job that I fit perfectly. I just didn't know what to do. And that was kind of a low point for me and kind of a game changer, because it changed my mindset of what I had to do to be successful. So I'm not saying you have to do this, but this is just kind of part of my story. I was doing like really creative and thinking outside the box in a lot of ways. And like, I'll give you an example. I started applying to some startups in New York City, and there was one that was a startup for helping businesses get like legally prepared and register their entity. I thought it was a cool idea. And so what I did was I would print out, my resume, but I would also print out like an S Corp form and things you'd have to submit, like an IRS form. And I'd fill it out with my personal info. And then I wrote a little note in a box explaining how I was doing this to try to stand out. And I actually heard back from the CEO of the company saying he loved my initiative and idea, but they just weren't hiring at the time. There was another real estate tech company I applied to. And what I did was I went to Walmart and I got a wooden like birdhouse, and I made it look like just a regular house. I painted it, and then on the sides I would take index cards and I would like put my resume on this wooden house and send it off in a box to their office in New York City. And I didn't hear anything from there. But I was literally going that far to do creative things and do things outside the box to stand out, because that's how hard this process was. I just talked to a friend that's gonna be a senior next year, and he's kind of been applying to jobs, looking for internships for this summer, and kind of wants to have something lined up for when he's done his senior year too. And he's saying the same thing. He's like, I've applied to over 100 places and I'm not even hearing back. So it really is so difficult for young people. And I feel like, older generations don't understand, because they're, oh, you got to work harder. And it's like, a lot of times I get the image of older generations, and they would just walk into a company office, fill out a paper application, and like they'd be walking out with a job or be interviewing right then and there and know on the spot. Like, that's not the reality for us today. So that's kind of like more reason I wanted to make this video, just to let people know like how I understand how difficult it is, and people know. But like I said, I was putting in applications, I was getting interviews where I could, and just like nothing was going for me. So I ended up coming home and found a job on LinkedIn that I was really interested in. Saw that there was an HR person attached to the job posting, messaged her on LinkedIn, sent her my resume. I was on it a lot to get the job, and then eventually I did. It just worked out. I got lucky. Very grateful. I was at that company for about 8 months, and I've just started a new job, something that I'm really excited about. And I literally got this job from my boss's tweet on Twitter or X. I saw it on the For You page. I didn't even follow him. And he talked about building a brand. And I clicked on the website, saw you could book a free call, booked a call with him. And then from there, we kind of just talked shop. And I asked him if he had any jobs, and he hired me, essentially right on the spot. He told me that he was looking for someone like me to go make a quick Loom video for him, and in 2 days I had the job. So it just goes to show you, like, things come up out of nowhere. You never know what can happen. But I just wanted to share my story. Now, to kind of end the video, I want to share 3 things that I would recommend people do to increase the likelihood of getting interviews and kind of getting the job that they want. The first I would do is utilize LinkedIn, but not in the way you'd think. I would really recommend getting the monthly paid version. It helps you getting to more people's inboxes. It helps, makes you more visible to recruiters on the platform. And what I would do is get that paid version, and then what you do is go to the search bar, type in the name of your school, go to your school's page, and then you'll see alumni. Look for alumni that are in industries or that live in places that you're interested in, and then cold message them and say, hi, I see you're an alumni from whatever school you're from, would just want to know what you do because I'm interested in the industry. Would you be available for a quick call? And then once you get in that call, you got to just flat out ask them, hey, do you have any positions? Do you know anyone hiring? Please keep me in mind, that type of stuff. That's how you get your foot in the door. It's all about those networking connections that make the big difference at the end of the day. So use LinkedIn, go to your school's page, go to alumni, reach out to them. If you can't, reach out to anybody you can on LinkedIn. Don't just apply to LinkedIn on a job application cold. Find the HR or the recruiter and message them about the position and say, hey, can we jump on a call? Hey, what are you looking for in the application for me to stand out? You got to get the inside information here. The second thing I would do, and this is easier said than done, but use your resources and your connections to get your foot in the door. If you know anyone in an industry or at a company you're interested in, whether it be a friend of a friend or a friend's parent or your parent's friend, or any sort of connection at all, you need to utilize that as much as possible because those people have a say and can help you out. If you have any resources at your school to use them. Any sort of connections you have, those are your biggest friend. They're your biggest and easiest way to get an interview or get the job. So use LinkedIn, get the paid version, and reach out to people from school alum. Use as many connections as you have at your disposal to get interviews and get your foot in the door. And the third thing is just flat out be bold, straight up ask, and cold message. Use LinkedIn, use Twitter, use Instagram, use any social platform, and don't be afraid just to shoot people a message and be like, hey, love what you do, I follow you. Would you know of any opportunities at your company or in your field? It can't hurt. What's the worst they can say? No. So reach out to everyone you can, especially in untraditional ways. That's what happened to me. I literally saw my current boss post on X. I booked a call with him because I saw you could book free calls on his website. And then from there, I essentially got the job. So those are the big things that really worked for me and I saw the most engagement with. But if I'll say stuff not to do, stop just cold applying on company websites. Stop applying through Quick Apply or whatever it is on LinkedIn. Those don't really work and they're not that good. Use your connections. Get the paid version of LinkedIn, whether you get the paid version and you pay monthly for 6 months and that's what all you need, or 5 months or 4 months, whatever it is. Use the paid version of LinkedIn to get into more direct messaging inboxes, reach out to school alum, and if you can get on calls with people, get on calls with people because that's when you can just straight up ask and you put them on the spot. Do you have any job opportunities for me? I think that's kind of the best way to go about it. But like I said, I sympathize with all like young college grads or recent college grads or just young people in general because I know how difficult the job market is. But use those 3 things that I said, kind of take my story and learn from it. But I hope you guys take something from this. And if you have any questions or concerns, I'd love to help you guys in any way. Feel free to comment in the description. Comment and I'll respond back, or my socials are in the description, so feel free to message me there. But I hope you guys take something from this video, and good luck in your job search.